Good morning, S&P. Good morning, YouTube. How's it going? Market is now open. It is Friday. My famous quote before I blow up an account. Remember, the markets do not care how much money you need for a goal. The markets only care about patience. They care about the setup, period. All righty, people. Let's have a fantastic day. May the odds be ever in your favor. Or I'm sorry, may the citadel be ever in your favor. There we go. 28,600. Big old pepperoni with cheese here. We do have some data today. Not much, but a little bit. ES is coming up 75.04. Blast off green candle for NASDAQ. Almost fully retraced. The 200-point move there. Coming up to new highs. We have another up and down with the tech stocks. Amazon is up 11.8. Apple is down 8.8%. Getting clobbered while Amazon rockets. SanDisk is up 8.6. MU's up 5. Google's up 2. Meta's up 2. Nvidia's up 1.4. Just a bright green market. Now the S&P is a mixed bag. 50-50. XLF, PV, all red. XLRE is red. XHB is red. Everything else is moderately green. So tech is the big winner. I literally feel like I have spiders crawling all over me. Like this stuff is like, blah, blah, blah. I got to stop taking this stuff in the morning. So we have a mixed bag. Half and half red, half and half green. ES is coming up. What's up, K2? Good morning, Pascal. Good morning. Thanks for being here. Welcome. Beta-alanine. I took some beta-alanine for my workout. What's up, Mojo? Good morning. Shorting the yen every time the government intervenes is free money. Nice. I need to do that. The Korean stock market is up 18% today. What a mean market. I may tell you, man, yesterday was incredibly bullish. It was incredibly. I told you all, do not short anything. Now, I'll have to admit, I experienced a great deal of FOMO yesterday afternoon. I was not happy. Missing the S&P bounce on the morning range because I was so stuck on NASDAQ. It hurt me to my core. It was no bueno. So someone asked me the other day, do I still experience FOMO after doing this for so long? Yes, I do experience FOMO, and yesterday was it. The S&P put on a crystal clear 3C bounce right at the morning low at about 10 o'clock. And then it went on to go up 100-plus points. And it hurt me. It hurt me. It's like seeing a past love in public out with their new boyfriend or girlfriend. It's like, oh man, that hurts. That hurts. NASDAQ is blasting. New overnight high for NASDAQ. Straight ripping and a tearing. Straight ripping and a tearing. Look at that. Boom. Boom up there. This is too much too fast. I think they're going to play games with us. They're going to play little Backstreet Boys and play games with our hearts here. That's what I think. That is what I think. I think this is a trend line. Yep, this is a trend line. We're going to see how they do this. NASDAQ just blasted hundreds of points. Already out of the gate, we're up 150 points. Right on top of a trend line. Volume will give us the tail. If they can close a top wick anytime, we'll make something happen. Blame Ken. Yeah, we always blame Ken. 685 NASDAQ still going. ES with a nice sweeping top wick. 692 NASDAQ still going up to 700. Incredibly bullish move still. The bullish move continues. I think we're up, 1,200 points. Wait for volume. We do have liquidity lower. Like I said, I do think they're going to give us an opportunity to short today as opposed to yesterday. You just got to be a little bit careful on it. And of course, you cannot have the thought in your brain, well, it can't keep going up. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. If only my account would have survived that drawdown. Yeah. Tremendously bullish open on the NASDAQ. Of course, the S&P is still going after a top wick, 75.14, 28,700. We're already up almost 200 points since the New York Open, and that's not even including the 300 points from the overnight levels. We need a good high volume 3C top wick to get us into even considering a short position off of this move. That could get us there. That is a nice sweeping top wick, but the bulls you see are still very strong. We have phenomenal bookmap liquidity lower, and they just completely top wicked higher that move. You know, if you know, you know. When they top wick higher, top wick higher, top wick higher, how aggressive the bulls are. We're up 200 points on the New York Open after already an incredibly extended bull move, as they continue to squeeze the entire market higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. We have a tremendous amount of call buying. 700 million calls purchased. 700 million and climbing of calls purchased. Will we get a 3C? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I don't know if that 74.50 liquidity on Bookmap will come into play, but it is big and it is down there. 1,200 lots on the S&P, down to 74.50. Will they give us an opportunity to actually play a short position? I don't know. What do we think about that water reserve and water limits? I didn't hear about that. You'll have to fill me in on that. I did not hear about that. There we go, a little bit of red. Right here will give us our 3C trigger. If they can close this red under this level at about 680, we will get our 3C trigger. Can they do it? Can they do it? Ken Griffin with Citadel, can they do it? Right here. Buyers are very strong. 680 right here. We have data coming up. We have data coming up. Apple's down big on my port. I was wondering why I'm seeing red overall. Yep. Yep. They're going to make you work for it today, homies. First day on my new funded TPT. Have a blessed day. Nice noob. Well done, buddy. Keep it up. Keep grinding the funded. Tim Apple's last earning call. Interesting. The MU move is nice. Yes. Do you share your entries in your trading group? Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir, I do. I had to work yesterday and Wednesday. I've missed everything, including embracing a dozen of emotional support donuts. There you go. All right, nice little move down, still going. We have our first 3C of the day, at least on the 1 minute. We don't have it on the 5 minute because you'll have to engulf the entire range to get it on the 5 minute. But if you would like to trade the first 15, you can trade off the little smaller time frames until we get a 5 minute trigger. We have some call selling, put buying. We have a move down. $75.05 here on the S&P. Dropping. Nice. Nice top wick back over. Beautiful sweeping top wick all the way back down. There's our first 3C move lower. The volume tells the tale. The top wicks tell the tale. That's all you have to do. I am telling you the script of the market. Top wicks with volume. That is it. That is it. It's like a symphony. Good morning, Jim. How you doing? There we go. 28,605. That is a sweeping 140 point top wick back over. The S&P is doing the same. Like I said, we have 74.50 to the downside on the S&P. That will bring us lower. Not to mention, look at SPX. SPX is now bumping up against 7,500. That is the main resistance of the market here. You keep bumping me against the wall. Right up there at 7,500. What the crap? Chickens. 28,570 still going. Beautiful stuff all the way down. How much do you recommend building above the TPT buffer? I like to hold a 2x buffer, 2 times the buffer. There's our first 3C trigger all the way down. I told you all that they were going to give you short opportunities today. I've been nailing it all week. I've been nailing the thesis all freaking week. Yesterday I said do not short. Today I said they're going to give you short opportunities, and look what happens. Retail has now gotten overly bullish. Now you have people calling for exceptional rallies today. No bueno. I'm telling you, who said it the other day that if you counter retail, you're going to be on the right side of the trade? Case in point, man. 2 days ago, everybody was exceptionally bearish. I said, don't short. Today, everyone gets exceptionally bullish. I said, now is the time to short. Boom. 200-point sell-off on NASDAQ. You're welcome. You're welcome. All the way down. 3C high volume top wick and extending. And extending. I love it. I love it. It's like a concert. Nice, Omron. Well done, buddy. Keep it up. 28,530 on NASDAQ. The S&P is doing the same, coming back over. We have our first pivot coming up at 74.80 and dropping. 74.80 and dropping. Good morning, MJ. How you doing? How you doing? Micros are where it's at. Highly recommend trading micros for funded accounts until you get a nice buffer. Ease into things. When you first get funded on a prop firm account with Take Profit Trader, in your mind, you're gonna get finessed. You're gonna get a little intoxicated on the idea of daily payouts, which you should. It's a fantastic thing. Don't go for the payout on day one. That's what you want to do, right? You want to get funded. You want to get that big payout day one. Don't do it. You're not there to get rich on day one. You're there to get rich on day 50, day 60. Keep that baby alive by trading micros. Inch your way into it. Slow and steady. Nice little top wick NASDAQ, 28,524. We're going to go for 430. S&P's back over on a nice little healthy dump because the sentiment is incredibly bullish. When the sentiment is incredibly bullish, that's when you get the opportunities to short. It's counterintuitive, people. Think counter retail. Did we miss that short, or are you looking for the long after? No, 100%. We called that perfectly, baby. High volume 3C top wicks all the way over. What's up, Nomad Trader? How you doing? Still going 510. We're going to be looking for 440 NASDAQ. Love it. All the way back over. When you build the buffer to 2x, do you take out money on the way? A little bit. I'll take out a little bit to pay for the account, pay for the evals. My goal is to pay myself back as fast as possible. And then you start building that. And eventually, hopefully, you continue to grow that balance. Nice little move lower here, 28,488. That is over a 300-point move for those who elected to trade the 3Cs. Coming down to 435. Another day, another lesson, another gain. That's right, Thatch. I love it. Micros are the best thing ever. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Top wick back over, coming back down, 28,432. I have had an owner of an options-based prop firm reach out to me, and they want to have a conversation about joining up. I'm going to have that conversation, and we'll see how things go. See if that brings any value to the community. Dropping back over, major red all the way back over. Still selling, baby, still selling. Pinpointed that 3C reversal on the top, and that is all she freaking wrote, man. You remember that time when I caught a trade and then I signed off in like the first 10 minutes and y'all got mad at me? Yeah, we need to do that again. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I love it. I love it. 3C top wick short opportunity. We are coming down 28,430. We just hit our first target of this little pivot. That's not the overnight low. We still have another couple of hundred points before we get there. But we did hit our first pivot from the 0843 mark. Straight up, straight down, high volume 3C top wick. Oh, you're welcome. That would not be bad. Nice and bad, well done. That was the best, Dave. Caught most of that. I just hit my daily goal before I usually even trade. Let's go. Nice, Proggy. Nice. Go use some of that money and invest to open up a fund for your child. And start putting that money in now. Don't wait until that kid's 15 years old to start giving it a 529. Do it now. Start buying some SPX for your kids and bless them with wealth. You want your kids to be millionaires? Start buying them SPX shares now. Don't buy them stupid toys like Barbie dolls. Buy them shares of SPX or SPCX. I'm sorry. Large red candles coming off 28,420. Next target for 390. Next target 390, dropping back over. Called the top perfectly, baby. 3C high volume top wick. Yesterday I said no shorting. Today I said it's time to short. All the way back down. Caught the drop. Thanks. Nice, Dreamy. What's the closest you get to your buffer zone taking withdrawals? It really depends. Great way to start the morning. That's right, Jimbo. What time frame was that high volume top wick? 1 and 3 minute. You can't go to the 5 this early in the day. You're just not going to get a lot of confirmation. But the 1 and 3 is going to help you out in the first 15 minutes. Unfortunately, because of that, I can't take full position sizing the first 15 minutes. So that's why I'm not being completely intolerable right now, because I can't trade with my normal position sizing. If that was normal position sizing, I would be pulling a World Cup goal celebration. But right now it's just kind of a minor pat on the back. Thanks, K2. Appreciate you. 28,408. We are still rocking and rolling, baby. All the way down. All the way down. I bought my son Pokemon cards instead, and his collection is already worth around 17,000. Nice. Yeah, Pokemon cards, I mean, that's not my thing, but in terms of an investment value, an investment vehicle, fantastic. Like, that's the Pokemon investment value that is just tremendous. My kids are 2 and 4, and they got more money in the market than I had in my bank account at 18. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Remember that when they're sneaking out of the house at 15. NASDAQ still dropping. We are looking for the overnight low. Remember, the markets have gotten exceptionally bullish. The sentiment has gotten exceptionally bullish. People still are calling for massive rallies. That is the time to start shorting. Counter the sentiment, baby. Counter the sentiment. Apparently, Pokemon cards have outperformed the S&P, which is insane. It's shiny cardboard. Oh, yeah. It's crazy, man. We are blessed. We're blessed to do this, baby. We live in a time where you can sit down at a computer, click a few buttons, and make more money than the average person makes in a month or in a year. We're truly blessed. We're truly blessed. What a way to start the day. We're straight down, baby. 28,381 coming down to 300. 75 more points, and we hit our final boss. All the way down, and we caught it. We caught it. Once funded without taking withdrawals, when would you start testing for the second account? That's up to you, man. That's up to you. That's up to you. Me personally, the way I do things is that my goal with prop firms is to make it completely self-sustaining. No more inputs from my bank account. So you begin to take payouts, use those payouts to build other accounts, and you invest in you treat it as a business, and you use your payouts to invest in your own business. That way you completely decouple your bank account from the prop firm and create a self-sustaining thing. That's what I do. You know, I'm very open with how much I spend on prop firms. It's anywhere between $1,000, $1,500 to $3,000, $3,500 a month, typically. But not a single penny of that comes from my bank account. It all comes from my payouts that I keep in there to rebuild the evals, to buy evals, to reset, that type of thing. It's a completely self-sustaining business. An evaluation amount reset has not hit my bank account in over a year. It all comes from my payouts. Still dropping down, 28,326, 328, coming down to 300. All the way down, straight down. This is do not buy this dip. Not yet. Not until you get a 3C long opportunity, which we don't have. We're looking at the overnight low right here at 28,300. All the way down. All the way down. When things calm down, can you please discuss how you set your targets? You've been spot on. Yes, sir, I can do that. The reverse is going to be epic. I don't know, man. I'm sure they will, but right now, yeah. I accidentally got my billing jacked up. I may have been paying you from 2 different accounts. I don't have access to Discord. Not sure how to fix it. Shoot me. I guess you don't have access to Discord. You can't shoot me a DM. Shoot me an email, optionsmillionaire2020@gmail.com, and I'll see what I can do to get you fixed up. Can you have more than 5 funded accounts, but only get paid trading 5 of them? Yeah, so TPT, you can have 5 funded accounts at one time. You can have more than that waiting to be funded. So you can pass like 30 different evals, but you can only have 5 active at one time. So once those 5 fail, you can just reactivate the next 5. All right, here we go. High volume bottom wick at 948. We do have a little bit there at 28,320. You need a higher high in the 5-minute, which unfortunately here is 470. Now, I don't recommend waiting 100 points to get in a long position. So again, this is very early trading, so you might have to come down to the 3, tres, which still is very high. Maybe the dos, but right now, whatever, do your thing. We have a tremendous amount of put buying, call selling here. The problem with glorious moves like this is that I can't call, super confident moves like that over and over and over again. It's just the probabilities aren't on our side as retail traders. So, we caught a fantastic move all the way down. Now, it's kind of a reactionary sit. I have to sit back. I went from proactive. Now I have to kind of sit back into a reactionary state until I see the setup form. Now, we have high volume that comes in here at 948, which shows we have some demand, but we're also coming on down to the overnight low position of 28,300. So we're likely to see volume spikes as we come into the overnight low, and I do think we will fill that overnight low at some point very soon, whether it be now or in the next 20 minutes. Do you always scale out of trades to reduce drawdown? Not always. Not always. Sometimes I get all out, sometimes I don't. What's your recommendation to hold? I got out too early. Well, I never want to recommend, I guess, white knuckling, just kind of squeezing onto them, holding onto the position. But sometimes that's the way to do it. The best way to go about doing things is set a hard stop on the position, set a target profit, shut the computer off, and go walk away. And then come back in an hour later and see what happened. That's the best way to hold trades longer. The best trades I've taken have been that, where I'm not really monitoring the trade. I'm not micromanaging the trade. That's why some of the reason why some people are actually better phone traders than they are on their computer, because they can do that. Am I sick? No, I'm not sick. Do I sound sick? I'm infected with profits, baby. Great morning so far. Trailed a little too close, but certainly can't complain. I hear sniffles. Really? All right, here we go. Coming on down, looking for the 28,300 overnight low position on NASDAQ. Straight down, baby. Straight down. Straight down. About to do it here in about 20 points. We will hit the overnight low position. No longing. Do not long anything yet. I'm not going to say they're not going to bounce it, although I could very well see them smoke this thing all day after yesterday. But don't long without a confident 3C trigger or a reason to do so. Let's go take a look at the S&P. They're doing the same thing. They've already taken out the overnight low position. NASDAQ has not. They're defending. Remember what we saw here. Remember this. Let me show you this. Remember this right here. Let me show you on the old Discord. Remember that 74.50 is now about to come into play for the S&P. I love it. NASDAQ just filled the overnight low. NASDAQ just filled the overnight low. Seems your computer BSOD is fixed for good. I think so. I replaced the core on it last week. And, yeah. I've ran all the tests on it. I've done the stress test. And everything works fine. No more BSODs. All right. So there's the overnight low. We just tapped it. Gave a little bounce. A little tap-taparoo. And we have our first bottom wick there. Claude for the win. That's right. I did all my updates, and I changed out my core. Now the next step is to build a new computer. They have now removed all that liquidity at 74.50. Let's go to the 5 minute. 5 minute 3C is about 28,400. Let's see what we can do. I don't want to go quickly looking for a bounce. Remember, the way I kind of form my bias for the day is what is the general sentiment of social media, of Twitter or X. What's the general sentiment? Are people euphorically bullish? Do I see people calling for yet like 300 point more blast after already 1,500 points in 2 days? If I start to see a lot of that euphoria, that's when I start to look to counter. So if you can survive days like yesterday without shorting, that's when you know you're going to have a great day the next day. Because if you like to short, that is. Because that's when the market's going to give you a great opportunity to counter this stuff on this scale, on the short-term scale. Don't get caught up in the euphoria. Be smart. Use that big ball of mush between your ears. Prepare yourself to look at the memory cost for your new computer. Yeah, I've done. I've priced out everything. It's exorbitant for sure. It's crazy. Great advice from refraining from shorts yesterday, sir. Thank you, Pascal. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the commentary. Make sure you like and subscribe. Another bottom wick. Do we get a 3C? We're about to get our first 3C long of the day. We will see. Is it true you're looking to become a pastor? No, it's not true. Although I am involved in ministry to a degree, and I'm looking at, I want to go deeper into that type of thing with like men's groups and stuff, but not an actual pastor. I feel like usually when we get this much sell-off, we tend to base and then the chip between the last two resistances of the rest of the day. 28,400. There is our 3C right there at 400. What is 3C? 3C is the system I trade. It's called the 3 criteria. 3 criteria is a mechanism I use to get into trades. So if I'm looking for a bounce, I need to see a volume spike, I need to see a bottom wicks, and then I need to see a closure of a higher high. As Christians, we all have a ministry. That's right. Our own house is our first and main ministry. The hedge fund wipeout has confused retailers. Is it real or manipulation by Citadel? I think it's a little bit of both. I'm sure the Citadel situation exacerbated what occurred the past couple of days. But if you notice, we saw tremendous amounts of selling on MU, SanDisk, and other names. Tremendous selling. And then now, we saw tremendous buying yesterday. So yesterday was one of the most bullish days we've had of the year. It's tremendous. Now, kind of what Spot Gamma talked about this morning on the Founders Notes is that if it's not induced by Citadel, then there's a massive coincidence on what occurred 2 evenings ago and what happened with the market yesterday. Massive coincidence. So, 28,350. Double top wick off of right on the 3C. That's why the 3Cs, that's how I know that we have chosen a proper 3C trigger at 28,400 because the market's using that as resistance. So you need to let that clear before you look at taking a long position. Otherwise, you're going to get swept over and over and over again. I've been traveling. Catch me up on Citadel. Citadel forced the market lower on typically the main assets of a fund, a large fund. I'd never heard of this fund. Situational awareness is the fund. I've never heard of it before until yesterday. But apparently it's robust, a couple of billion, lots of billions of dollars. They forced the market lower on their holdings, forced them to close the fund. They bought the assets of the fund, and then yesterday, of course, they recovered it. They just launched the market after immediately closing, after acquiring their assets. They dump and pumped them. They rugged them. They did the equivalent of stopping out your position and then rocketing it. Have you thought about getting into merch? Do you have 3Cs in your life? Yeah. We tried merch, although I think I just did merch too quickly. I think I kind of started the community and immediately started selling merch, and it didn't do well. And it was costing me money, so we stopped doing it. And plus, it was a lot of time. I don't know. Merch is not my thing. I guess if y'all really wanted some things, I could create a couple of different things for y'all to buy if y'all wanted to, but it's not my thing. I still like my merch. Yeah. I remember you bought a hoodie, definitely. Another top wick. Give it to Claude. Give it all to Claude. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the fund was run by a 24-year-old. Must have gotten wind that the fund was over leveraged. Probably, yeah. Another 24-year-old genius taken to the woodshed. Wasn't the Leo kid 4x leverage on his $20 billion fund? Yeah, he was big time. He was up a lot at one point. Yeah, I think he's still very wealthy. But it's just he got rugged. Yeah. Would risking 0.5% of your account per trade be? No, I think that would be good. Yeah, that sounds smart. I usually recommend no more than 1%. All right, so they're still rejecting here, coming down. We do not have a 3C long anywhere, so you cannot put on long positions. I'm sure some of you scalped this little thing here. Great. I mean, heck, that's still 100. These are still 100-point little bounces here. But you still need a good 3C if you want. Remember, I'm not here to do quick scalps. I'm here to put on large trades. And if it turns into a quick scalp, then so be it. And that's fine. But I'm not here to purposely put on quick scalps. You see the obvious range here. So this is your job as a trader to plot these ranges and be aware of it. You want to be situationally aware, not 4x leverage. Right here at 28,400 and 28,300, which is the overnight low level. This is where we are now consolidating, and it is your job to determine, is this accumulation for a bounce or is this absorption for a continued move down? That is your job. To me, right now, it looks like absorption for lower. I went and busted me with that scalp statement. I'm telling you, man. I know it. The Options Millionaire AR-15 Special Edition. Heck yeah, baby. Buy the dip coffee mug with Shrek on it. I love it. I'd probably get a copyright infringement with Shrek or Disney or whoever owns that patent. ES is going lower. Sure does look like it. Absorption will be low volume, right? Correct. And we do have low volume. The volume is completely dissipated here, and this looks like downshifting for another move down. And at which point, if we do clear that, which we have now, 28,200 is your next target, 74.50 on the S&P. Until you have a high volume bottom wick, you cannot do any longing. It's all shorts, baby. It's all shorts. Give them a free membership and the copyright will be fine, yeah. I know this is NASDAQ, but which symbol is this? I normally watch the SPX and didn't realize there were 5 million NASDAQ symbols. This is NQ, more specifically NQU 2026. This is the September contracts for NASDAQ. So November, Quebec, Uniform 2026. All right, coming down 28,284. No longing at all until you get a 3C. Straight down. Do your face with the Shrek ears? I can do that. I don't know if I feel comfortable, though, with all of you drinking coffee with my face on a mug. Still dropping. Beautiful stuff. We called the top perfectly, people. The 3C top wick trigger. Lower low at 676, 67, and then down we go. 28,260 and dropping. Next target is 200 on NASDAQ. On the S&P, we are looking for 74.50 on down. This is a tremendous sell-off. Tremendous sell-off all the way down. A tremendous sell-off all the way down. All the way down. I love these type of moves. I love these type of moves. Take profit traders' freaking payouts are lightning fast now. I love how they fix that. Instantaneously in your account. It's fantastic. Nobody can kiss the mug. Yeah, they're weird. All right, 28,230, still dropping. NASDAQ all the way down to 230 more points. No longing whatsoever until you have a 3C. This is straight down. This is straight down. What's up, Jeff? My name is Jeff. 7450 target. Bookmap pinned that level perfectly. This morning we had 1,200 lots on the S&P sitting at 7450. That is when S&P was sitting at 7510. So that is a 60-point sell-off caught on Bookmap all the way down on NASDAQ. By the way, I'm not trading. I'm at the client's house and he's late meeting me. Uh-oh. He's costing you money. All that. I love Next Level. 100% Pablo Steve Paul. I love Next Level. I'm up 12% on the portfolio. Thanks for all you do. Nice, Nomad Trader. Well done, buddy. Well freaking done. I love it. Let's see where SPY is at. 740. They've undone 6 points. Can they get down to 734? Nobody knows. What's a kilogram? Nobody knows. 28,240 dropping. No longing whatsoever. Do not buy the dip. Not yet. Do not buy the dip. 2.205 pounds. Yes, sir. We still have half the imbalance blows to get through. Dude, it would be incredible. Incredible. Have we pulled the 50% Fibonacci on the entire move yet? Have we done that yet? Let's do that. The Fibonacci is sitting at 27,267. Proof. I love it. Still coming down, straight down, baby. We are now down a 500-point sell-off. Pinpoint perfectly with the 3Cs. Does the 3C apply to any time frame from a level? The 3Cs are applicable on every single time frame you wish to apply it on. So whatever system, whatever time frame you choose to trade, you can apply the 3Cs and trade it successfully. All it does is monitor volume with price action. It teaches you how to learn volume and price action. So you can apply it on any time frame you want. 28,167 all the way down, baby. All the way down. We are dropping. Extraordinary move, baby. This is extraordinary. No longing. Do not long until you have a high volume spike. You'll know it when you see it. In my opinion, this downside will be culminated with a very strong, quick down candle and then an aggressive bottom wick. And then you'll know that we have hit support. The S&P just blew right through 74.50, which is our first target from 75.16. That's a 70-point drop. Where will we go? Where will we go? Straight down. $28,172. No longing till you get up a 3C bottom wick. No longing till you get a 3C bottom wick. 28,160. We just hit 510 icebergs there on ES. We're coming down to the 50% Fibonacci move on the entire move, all the way down 28,140, 28,074.37 and dropping. That's almost a 100-point sell-off on ES. This is an extraordinary sell-off. Do not long. All the way down, baby. 28,126 dropping. 28,126 without. Now you can use. Someone asked, is a 3C system a counter trade system? Yes and no, because right now, if you're in a short, use a 3C long as your exit trigger. Don't exit until you see a 3C long trigger. If you're not bullish, you should be bearish, right? In theory. All the way down. It's fantastic. What an extraordinary sell-off. I hope that the members in this Discord have been have had an edge over the general retail population after this week, because this week has been extraordinary. This week has been extraordinary. Favorite week of the year, hands down. Favorite week of the year. Not even close. In terms of trading, at least. 100%. Yeah, buddy. So we have a little volume coming in at 10:08. Watch out for a possible bullish response. You need a 3C. That doesn't mean 3C. That just means we have a high volume spike and a couple of wee bottom wicks. And then an engulfing red candle. If they bottom wick this candle, I will look to go long. Only if they bottom wick this candle will I look to go long. Because that is typically how they like to do things. If they don't bottom wick it, then you're going to be going for 967. So that's the whole theme here. When I see volume, I have to start looking at what the candles are going to do. And that's a typical sweep setup right there. That's how they like to do things. Dump it quickly, hammer it, and then stop all the shorts out, stop all the buys out, and then go. So we'll see if they're actually going to do that. If they bottom wick this candle, I think we'll have a probable long entry here, at least a long scalp at this 28,138 level. More volumes coming in on the 10-10 candle, the 10-10 220, 10 cents a minute. There we go. 28,141. Can they do it? I've never experienced this type of success in trading until now. Unbelievably grateful. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that, buddy. I'm glad you have some success. I'm glad you have some success. Let's keep it going. I'll teach you as much as I can. Right here at 28,150, that candle right there that occurred at 10:10 is how they like to bounce it. They dump it quickly. That was a 80-point candle. Hammer the bottom, and that's how they stop out both the longs and the shorts. And now if they bounce it, we're going to have our first possible long entry of the day right here. Can they do it? They got to close this level. And booyah. They'll give you a quick 100 points if they close this. They'll give the longs a quick 100 points if they can close this right here. It'll be quick. They got to close it. What's up, Salim? How you doing? How you doing? Tim, I don't discuss my positions with the YouTube. That's reserved for the Discord, baby. Still going. There we go. There's a nice bottom wick. 28,190. My Quan Tower has now hit the 3K profit target. Nice. Now it's time to start taking the money out, baby. I love OM more than Lindsey Graham loved. I'm glad I stopped saying that sentence after I read that last word. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. What are all your sources of income? You mentioned sometimes trading is your most, but sometimes it's not. Just curious. I've got a lot of sources of income. A lot of sources of income. Everything's great, Celine. It's fantastic, man. All right, NASDAQ's coming down 28,120. Still can't get the 3C close yet. Eggs. Lots of eggs. As you know, like I am looking to build a farm, so I do have technically another. I've already created an additional source of income with the farm. It's not much, obviously, but the goal is to bring that up to another substantial source of income. A couple of $1,000s a month is the goal to kind of do that. Ultimately, is because I want to give something to the kids, and I don't know if I can give trading to the kids. I could teach them how to trade, but they may be terrible traders. I don't know. So, and I'm doing that so I can create something to give to them. I've been stopped out 3 times in this down move over concern about the intraday trailing stop. Don't do it, man. Stick to micros and you'll be fine. The trailing drawdown will not come into play if you're using micros. Hi, I'm one of your long lost kids. Come on, baby. All right. Right here, we've got 28,123. We still cannot get a 3C long trigger whatsoever. We have a volume. We have a couple of bottom wicks. We cannot get a higher high. We had a move that went from 107 to 190, almost 100 points, but they can't close it. Right now, 170 is the trigger, and they can't close it. You can't go front running. Now, the options are beginning to turn bullish. They are beginning to turn bullish. Let me show you. Right here. They are turning bullish. We have almost $1 billion in calls purchased. We have 70 million of puts sold. So the options are beginning to lift the market here. I do think we're going to be set up for a bounce. I do think so. Maybe just, I'm not saying V recovery, but I think they are going to give us a 3C long for at least a scalp long from here. Once we get that trigger. Let me switch back to my charts. The S&P is 74.36. Incredibly strong downtrend right here, 28,120. We need about 170 to give us our 3C. The S&P, it looks like we're about to go down now. This looks like absorption. We need 74.40 on ES to go up. That is a high volume spike right there at 10.15, and that's a smoke-a-roni candle all the way down. Booyah. Incredible selling. Incredible selling. Everything is great, Salim. How's everything with you? What is marking 967 on your chart? Was a 967? I don't see it. I don't see a 967 chart mark. Another bottom wick. Are we talking about this line right here? Oh, that's the Fibonacci. Yeah. If you're talking about this here at 970, that's the 50% Fibonacci that I pulled. Another bottom wick again. A bottom wicking like crazy right here in 120. Another bottom wick again. We need to get up here about, let me switch back to the 5 minute. So we need I'll call it 160 now. 160, now I'm going to stick at 170. 170, we need it right here to go. And will give us a 3C long. That looks like a sweep candle. I took 190 points on a few NQs. Thoughts on TLT at broke lows. TLT is going to have a lot of pressure as long as yields continue to do this. And the scary thing is that I looked at the October 2027 rate predictions. 2027, which is 14 months away. And it's showing a probability of hikes. Almost every single FOMC event from now until October 2027 is showing hikes. This is not going to be a good economic condition for the next couple of years. This is going to be a lot of pressure. Until they have to, in my opinion, I've been saying this for a while, since like 2022. I think the way all of this post-coronavirus economic conditions ends, I think the way it comes to an end is a lot like it came to an end in 2008. Is when they have to emergency cut. When things get so bad and they wait too long to cut, is that they're going to have to emergency cut. And it's going to have a market sell-off. We're going to have a lot of pressure, and we're going to have Warsh coming out, holding his hat in his hand, saying, we waited too long, and the Fed has decided to emergency cut 100 basis points. Because that's the way it always ends. Big old bounce right here. We have our 3C all the way up after a bottom wick, and up we go. Calls buying all the way up. Fantastic. There we go. 28,200. Volume came in. Bottom wicks. That is a textbook basing with the bulls. And up, and away. Seasonality usually bottoms by the end of the first week of August for another slow grind up. Yeah, definitely. Okay, I lied. Make that 23%. Nice, Nomad. Worse is no credibility so far. Yeah. Caught that short, slowly loaded longs, and hit for the perfect 50% scalp. Nice, Nomad. Right there is the good stuff I like to see. High volume bottom wick, up, and away, engulfing green, closing over. We have tremendous amount of call buying. Tremendous amount of call buying. It's extraordinary. I use that as a new short entry when we're super trending like this. Yes, sir. 20% pullback on the ES and NASDAQ. I like it. The Fed is always late. They can't help themselves. They are all academics. Yes, sir. I completely agree with that. Fed is always late, and that's why I think it's going to end that way. I think they're going to continue to do this and kick the can down the road, and we're going to face some pretty strong conditions, and then they're going to have to emergency cut right there. So, yeah, buddy. $28,180. Beautiful bottom wick right there. We have at 120. A lot of volume came in and basing up to 200. If the bounce continues, we're going to be gunning for a retest of 300. This is our first actionable long position of the day after catching the short at the top. Not to be political, do you think this was all due to Iran war? I don't think the market cares about the Iran war anymore. It wrote it off. I mean, yes, we still have some volatility triggers back and forth, but I think that's kind of been placed on the back burner, as all things do. The market eventually prices in the headlines, and we move on from it. It takes a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, depends on the severity, and then we move on from it. And I think we've kind of moved on from Iran. Unless anything drastically changes, I think we moved on from it. If you look at history, the first cut precedes recession. It's the best indicator of recession. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so what does Linda Raschke say? You short the first pop after putting in a new low. Does that mean we reshort this? The removal of the PDT restriction back on June 1st noted the exact high of the market. The highest price we achieved on the Qs was the day they removed the PDT restriction. Interesting. Do you think that's coincidence? Okay. What to do next? 1.3 billion calls purchased. We are now in put selling territory. They've sold off all the puts, and they're smoking the calls, baby. Citadel rugged retail on that day. Yes, they did. 28,235. We have our first 3C long trigger over 170, and now we're climbing up to 240. And going up to 300 is our first target. Do you see how I use volume and wick to look for these movements? I'm not guessing. I'm not relying on indicators. I'm simply looking for volume and flow with wick, movement over a prior high. And those triggers allow me to either get in or out of positions. It takes the guesswork out of the market. I don't have to worry about bias. I don't have to worry about thinking or guessing. I just wait for the volume and wait for the wick. Now, from a bigger scale here, we just had a move from 700 down to, about a 700-point move. That's a massive sell-off on the NASDAQ. Now we're bouncing back up. We do have liquidity. We have 1,100 lots sitting at 74.60 on the S&P. So we have a lot of liquidity sitting at 74.60 on ES, which is right here at this orange line. That is from the pivots from the overnight session. And if we come up and retap that, I could anticipate some resistance at that area. Again, just anticipation. There's no actionable items there until I see the volume, but that's what I'll be looking for. Right there at 28,000. Another top wick. Another top wick. $28,170. Closing half. Nice, Mojo. Nice. Any questions, thoughts, comments, concerns about that? Kind of walk through that whole move there. We have another top wick. If we retest 28.08 and come back down, then we'll look for volume again. The beautiful thing about those morning moves like that is that they happen quickly. and they allow me a lot of wiggle room for the follow-on trades the rest of the day. We have no more news the rest of the day. Next week, we have non-farm payroll and ADP non-farm employment change. Non-farm payroll is one of my favorite news events to trade. Couple of top wicks here on NASDAQ. Not sure what they're going to do with this here. 190, 186. Every time I enter long on the MES using 3Cs, it goes 1 to 2 candles and shifts red and gets stopped out every time. Most trades you're not going to catch a 500-point move every time. If that's what you're expecting, then I don't have an answer for you. If you're stopping out at break entry, then that is an execution error. So the one thing that we may be different on is entries are going to be very similar, but I am perfectly comfortable letting a NASDAQ trade draw down 50, 60 points. You have to be. If you're going to trade NASDAQ, you've got to accept a 50, 60 point drawdown. It's got to. You're going to get clapped every time. And on a session like this, it may be even bigger because we're talking about 100 point 5-minute candles. So right now, if you decided to long this setup right here, there's not much that should have stopped you out already, unless you just want to take profit off very quickly. So that's an execution thing. That's an execution error on your part. Still set pressure. Still pressure next 10 minutes. Will determine long or short. Yes, sir. That's kind of one of those things, man. You could take any system you want in the world, put it in one trader's hands, and he'll make more money than ever. You put it in another trader's hands, and he'll lose every trade, because there's so much differences on the little bit executions and management and emotions. There's different strokes for different folks, man. When price blows through a previous pivot point you had marked, do you remove them from your chart? Depends on how major the level is. So if it's a very large level, then I'll keep it on there for retests. But if it's just a pivot, then yeah, you delete it. My thought process, Andy, is always less is more. Less is more. Tremendous call buying. 1.6 billion calls purchased straight up and going. NASDAQ 28,250. 7460 is my first target for ES. My stop loss is too tight. It's 12. Oh yeah, if your stop loss is 12 points for NASDAQ, you're going to get stopped out every single trade. It's just one of those things. If you're not comfortable with that, then I recommend S&P. S&P will treat you a lot better. Go to micros in the S&P and test out that system, because maybe the 3Cs are you got to tune it up with your eye. Yeah, but NASDAQ is a big boy product. If you're going to trade NASDAQ, you got to have big boy stops. It's just the way it is. The way it is. I appreciate the commentary every day. If I get my small account up to 1K, I'll become a Discord member. Nice RPR. Appreciate you. Thank you. And come hang out with us. I lost two 50K evals in 8 days because of using minis. No more. Micros saved me today. I love it. Micros is where it's at. If you're having problems, size down. Trade less and size down if you're having issues. Those two things will cure most trading ailments. Massive call buying, squeezing the calls up and away. 1.8 billion calls purchased. $15-minute engulfing green candle on ES and NASDAQ, up and away, 74.60s next. I'm having Claude debrief every single one of my trades. I love it. I love it. How long does profits take to appear on the TPT dashboard? Overnight. So Rhythmic a little bit longer. If you're on TRADIFY, they'll update probably about 6 o'clock p.m. Rhythmic and Quantower, they'll take a little bit longer overnight. But yeah, I'm excited about instant withdrawal. Dude, it's amazing. I'll request the payouts, and by the time I go to close out TPT and open up like my email or something, the notification will be there that the funds are in the account. It's crazy. Number one best prop firm in the business, and it's not even close. Not even an argument. It's extraordinary. 74.60. There's our first trigger. Trigger target. 74.60. The 10-year yields have now risen to 4.75%. 1,100 lots have now shifted from 74.60 to 74.65, which would put us almost at the retest of the overnight low position. On this day in 2001, Heinz Ketchup releases purple Easy Squirt ketchup. Y'all remember that? Purple ketchup. It's crazy. Is that overnight business day, or how about weekends? Weekends, it should update at the evening. It should update the evening of Friday. So like tonight, it'll update tonight. Purple and green ketchup. Yeah, I remember the green ketchup, definitely. 74.60. Speaking of ketchup, we picked 2 tomatoes yesterday that were, one of them was 1.1 pounds and the other one was 1.05 pounds. A single tomato is 1 pound. Massive. Size of a softball. Amish paste tomatoes are fantastic. Hey, something weird. What the crap is that? Hold on a second. I just saw a data anomaly. Okay, that's cleared off. Never mind. Disregard. $2 billion in 0 DTE calls straight up. $2 billion in calls straight up. 3C high volume bounce on ES on NASDAQ. Straight up. I like it. What am I fertilizing with? Horse manure. That's the only fertilizer we put on these plants. Compost from we bought a lot of compost from a horse farm. Extraordinary. Best garden we've ever had. Okay, so that's 2 moves pinpointed. I'm trying to figure out where to go from here. Normally, I would be closing up shop and heading outside. But we have an hour left together. Are you looking to go for the fib? Not necessarily. I'm only plotting that for situational awareness. The range, the Fibonacci on the range is right up here at 400. Would you mind explaining the 0 DT expirations, negative and positive levels? Yes. Let's take a quick look. All right, what you're looking at here on the screen is the Spot Gamma Hero. Spot Gamma Hero chart, and it's displaying 0 DTE options. The green line signifies calls. When it goes up, it's showing positive deltas. And if you know anything about calls, a call is a positive delta product. When you buy a call, your portfolio is now positive delta, meaning you're in layman's terms, you're long the market. You're net long, bullish. So with the green line exploding into $2 billion of positive delta territory, that's showing that there's market is longing 0 DTE calls. When you have the blue line going up, you are selling puts. So a put is a negative delta product. When you buy a put, your portfolio is negative delta, or you are bearish. So if you remember back in math class, when you multiply a positive number by a negative number, it comes negative, and vice versa. So when you start to sell a negative delta product, that means you are now exposing your portfolio back to positive delta. So you see positive deltas going up on the puts. So show is in layman's terms, you're put selling. So you have two products going up, put selling, call buying, shows positive nature in the market. The 0 DT options environment is turning bullish now. Now, if we saw aggressive put selling, the blue line going up along with it, then I would be heavily positioned into longs up to the high of the day. Instead, I just think this is a temporary bounce up into the 28,400-ish. I wouldn't necessarily expect a full V recovery is what I'm saying. Not yet, at least. Very bullish bounce. High volume 3Cs. All the way up. Thanks, mate. You're the best. You're welcome, Otani. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Obviously, I affiliate with Spot Gamma because I believe in them. I think they're the best options out there. And, it's a fantastic tool. It's a good little observational tool for options data. It's crazy how I look at volume 80% of the time, then price action, and my levels almost feel like I'm cheating. I'm telling you, man. Volume analysis is the way to go. Not all the gaps and all that other crap. I mean, it's all guesswork. The only way to truly understand what the market is doing is to understand the relationship between volume and price action. Volume and price action. Is Spot Gamma free? It is not free, no. It is a paid tool. Beautiful bottom wick. Highest volume candle today came in right here at 74.30. And coming up. It's hard for the big boys to fake real volume, 100%. How helpful, accurate would the 0 DT options flow for trading for trading ES and NASDAQ? I guess it depends what you mean. I'm not sure what you mean. It's helpful. If you're asking me, is it paramount? No. Nothing is critical. Nothing. If you don't have a system, there's not a single options tool in existence that will help you trade better. If you're leaning on options to make you profitable, you're going to get smoked. It's just not going to happen. You have to have an understanding of price action and volume, of just the general market movement, and then you use options to kind of correlate and tie that together. So first and foremost to me is the 3 C's: volume, price action, understanding. Once I have a good setup and I'm looking for correlation, then I'll turn to Bookmap and I'll turn to Spot Gamma to tie that all together for correlation. That's all it is correlation. So is it absolutely critical? No, nothing is. There's not a single tool out there that I would define as critical. But it's helpful. All right, NASDAQ and the S&P still going. We have 1,100 lots as of 74.65 that just got triggered. Which GEX tool platform would you recommend? I prefer Spot Gamma, If Spot Gamma is a little too spicy for you, TRADIFY is awesome as well. TRADIFY is not quite as robust as Spot Gamma, but I have used TRADIFY in the past. Thanks for sharing all your knowledge and expertise. God bless you and the gift for teaching. Thank you. Appreciate that. God has blessed me. I'm glad I could share these gifts with you all. I've only taken my second trade in over 2 weeks, embracing my overtrading restrictions. I like it, side gig, beautiful. Still going 74.65 all the way up. NASDAQ is not quite as bullish as the S&P, but we have a tremendous amount of call buying coming up. What you said, 1,100 lots at what level? 74.65. They filled it, though. There was 1,100 there sitting at 74.65, and they filled it. It's no longer on the books. How and when did you make your first 100K? I didn't hit my first six bagger there until 2020. 2020 is what put me on the map. I was doing pretty well. I was pulling out some profits. I was becoming a good trader. And then I made some decent money. But I was a real estate guy. At that time, I already had multiple properties. I was all about real estate. I grew up listening to Dave Ramsey. Everyone told me in the military to invest in properties, and I did that. And not to mention, back in 2018, 2014, properties were dirt cheap. My first house I bought for $148,000. I mean, it was crazy. And now it's worth over $450,000. So I was, and if you remember the markets in 2018, 2019, the markets were dead flat. Like, it was terrible to do this style of trading. I was only swing trading and investing, and even then it was very boring. So I was looking to get out. I guess I had a very large stroke of luck that I was able to get out before the crash, and months before the crash. And then the crash happened, and immediately I'm calling people that I know they're in the financial world, and I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Like, what are you telling your clients to do right now? And they told them, hey, we're just telling them to buy the S&P. And he says, I could charge you $5,000 to take your money and buy the S&P, or you could do it yourself. So that's what I did. I bought the S&P and all the S&P related names, and we had the massive recovery. And I made a tremendous amount of money. And that's really what changed my wealth. It changed my life. And then, of course, 18 months later, we created the Discord. And I posted all my trades. And here we are 6 years later. A vast majority of our wealth in our country is made on real estate. Yep. I still believe that. Still believe that. All right. We just hit 74.65 on the ES and top wicked. That may be it for now. ES and NASDAQ divergences, gambling. Yeah. I went from having my first six-figure year to having my first six-figure day. 2021, I made $158,000 in a single day on an Amazon trade. That was extraordinary. $1.4 billion in calls. We have a little bit of top ticket, 74.65. We have a retest at 28,300 NASDAQ. Kind of just floating now. Options are powerful. Yes, sir. Right there. How did I find Anna Coling and VPA? Man, I found the book just reading. Because, I love reading. I grew up reading. So I'm looking for trading books just like you all. And I'm looking for an edge on education. And I just happened to come across her book, started reading it. I was like, man, this is exactly what I need. I'm not a crazy smart person. I've done okay for myself, but I'm not crazy smart. So it's not like I can't do all these crazy algorithms and these systems that require math, which I'm pretty good at math. It's just not in that way. And it was perfect for me. I understood it. It connected with me. And I read everything. I read that whole book like 15 times. I watched her YouTube videos and started applying it. It just made sense. It made a lot of sense. Do you still trade options at all? I do. How about leaps? Do you buy any leap options? I don't really buy leaps. I've never been a fan of leaps. Not to say that they're not extremely profitable. And I'm not even saying that in a way that I actually wish I did trade a lot of leaps. I just don't do it. I just never liked them. Options are the only way you can make such amounts of money. Yep. So you only invested $5K into the S&P? No. There's a lot more than $5K. All right. ES and NASDAQ still going on up and up. Yeah, buddy. Do you mind if you walk through the 3C shorts on the chart? Yeah, 100%. Let's take a look. So as we said earlier, first and foremost is that this was a pre-15-minute trade, so my sizing had to have been small. That's why this day wasn't the best day of the week. It was a fantastic trade, but my position sizing made it not as euphoric as the prior couple of days, which is perfectly acceptable. That's fine. I made good money. High volume top wick that it came. We had volume come in eventually at the 8:30, 9:34 time frame. Not extraordinary amount of volume, but a lot. The first setup in this position here was the fact that I'm looking to short this move. Everyone else is euphorically bullish. I'm looking for the first short of the week right here. 28,720 top wick. Once we closed under the 680 mark, which is what we talked about, that's the trigger to go and all the way down. But because we can't confirm on the 5-minute, my position size has to come down. And then we wrote it down, eventually ending at the 320 mark. So it was all just a quick 3C off of the shorter time frame. There was not much to go off of in the 5-minute because the market was too new. Signed up on the new site and both WAP and subscription were charged there. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll get you squared away today. You're welcome. You're welcome. We started buying houses about the same time, and it catapulted us to an early retirement. Well, before I thought I was going to. Been on an exit plan. Yes, sir. 100%. I don't know what to do. Like right now, we've had the discussion is that the property values have appreciated so much. It's almost to the point where you have to do a cost analysis on, do we continue to just take the rent payments, or do we just sell and take the money and use it elsewhere? Like the properties have appreciated so much in the past 10 years. In a million years, I never would have thought properties would appreciate it like this. Extraordinary appreciation. So I don't know what to do. Take that money and run. That's the thought, but I mean, we can continue to build equity with the mortgage payments, and of course we've been very. One time I've had one of my properties just wrecked, so I've been very fortunate because I take a lot of steps to make sure I'm placing a good tenant. But I've had one bad case. I got on late. Did you say you started the day actually looking for a short? I did. Yes. If so, can you say why that train of thought? Because everybody else was looking for longs. Yesterday, everybody was bearish, so I told you all no shorting whatsoever. Today, everybody was looking for higher, so I said today's the day I'm looking for a short. Not to mention the market was extended. The market was very extended, and typically when the market gets extended, that's time to look for a counterplay. And that's what we did. Ask Claude, yeah. I had a friend with a wrecked property and his insurance covered it. He got $40K or something. Yeah, we had to do a small insurance claim, but it wasn't much. I'm able to fix a lot of the issues, so I fixed a lot of it, but a lot of it was the floors. They had a lot of animals, and I don't allow animals in my property, but they had a lot of animals, not just one, but many, and they pooped and peed all over my floors. How is property appreciation based on? It seems very vague. What stock, at least based on the price of the company and future growth of the house? It's just a house. I mean, I base it on what I paid for it. I could care less about the market value at the time I purchased. I say, what did I pay for the property, and what can I get for it right now realistically? Oh, 100%, Dave, 100%. Blast off green, still going. ES is in that float mode. This is where they float, continuing the trend lines all the way up. Take the money, park it for now, buy it SPX. I would love to do that. What would you define as extended? So when I look at a market that's extended, usually I need at least 2 or 3 days of movement because the market can do crazy stuff. Yesterday can prove the market can do some pretty silly stuff, especially the S&P. The S&P ended up being more bullish than the NASDAQ. I mean, it just went. So when I see this type of movement, especially if we go one session without a single pullback, like that's when I start to look for extended moves, and the overnight session started to look like distribution. A lot of top wicks on the NASDAQ. We talked about 5 minutes before the market opened, the markets were putting on a distribution format. So I was looking for that profit-taking short event after such an extended rally. Plus, Like I said, the euphoria I was seeing was pretty strong. And I just, from that nature, I look for a temporary short position. Now, did I know we were going to sell off 700 points? No. But I was just looking for a short entry. I'm paying my investor 12%, still clearing $200 a month. Nice. How do you spell Anna Colling? I'll get it for you. Here you go. That's her name. I'll type it out here. There you go. Still going. I've been lucky with solid tenants, but what I consistently think about is if I had property equity in the S&P, I'd be up more without the headaches. Yeah. It's a different time for real estate, that's for sure. It's a different time. Before 2021, I was all in. Like I was all in on real estate being the number one wealth generation tool. Now it's getting a little bit difficult. Like I haven't even bought a property in a while because property values are so incredibly inflated. I just don't see how it's feasible. The only way to really do that is that, one, you have to know how to do stuff, like build stuff and fix stuff. And number two, you have to get a crappy rundown house in the best school zone you could find and then fix that thing up. I just don't see how it's possible with property values. It's difficult. He recommended this book to me in 2021 and it's changed my life. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm glad you're still here. Yeah. Other than more prop accounts, what else do you invest in trading? I mean, I'm always looking to add value to my system and to my portfolio. Right now, for the past year, I've dollar cost averaged into TLT because I think we're going to have a run on TLT in the next couple of years. So it may take a while, but it's going to happen. The next target I'm looking for is SpaceX. So I'm always looking for value with stocks to add to my portfolio, which I do post in the server when I add. But in terms of that, it's just finding value with my scalps and trades and day trades and swing trades. I found your live this morning. Do you share your entries, target profits in Discord? I do, yes. It's a tough call on exiting real estate. We have seen scumbags try to scam us out of free rent. And the pain in the butt factor has risen, so we are exiting. Yeah. Cash flow is like 500 a month, barely any appreciation when compared to investing. Trading is not even close. But you're right. If your buy right is worth it. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the issue is, if you have good tenants, and it's not. I never looked at my mortgage, my rental payments every month as income. To me, it was so negligible. Like I never looked at it as, hey, I'm making all this money from rental payments. Is that to me is they were paying my equity. They're buying my equity in the house. That's what I cared about. So when it comes time for me to pull the ripcord and sell everything, I've got all this equity. So that's what I was told to very early, and it kind of changed my perspective on that. Glad to say I'm day 3 and I'm up another wow for today on the TPT Fundeds. Profits are halfway there thanks to the knowledge. Nice. K2, appreciate it. Keep it coming. Keep joining the server or the streams and let your friends know. Beautiful stuff. Huge oil 3C at 909. Having people buying a house for you by paying the rent is a great thing. It is. Yeah, it's 100%. Is there a target for the S&P? Well, right now there's 2 different main targets, and we just almost went target to target, 7,500, 7,400, and we nearly went level to level on it. Those are the 2 main call put walls on this chart. So you can kind of translate that from the S&P, and we bottom ticked off 7,400 right there. Is extraordinary. You can kind of translate that onto the S&P as well. I don't know if we're going to get back up. I don't know. We could, but I don't know. We just had a high volume top wick come in at 74.73. 1 runner left MES. Nice. Interesting. Nice little red move. That's a pretty heavy top wick on the old NASDAQ and the S&P. Have you looked into multifamily? I've thought I want to do that. My dream has always been to get into commercial property, which obviously requires a next level. But things have gotten so expensive the past 5 years. I just don't know how it's possible. Like, it would take every dime I have got to even consider getting into a decent commercial property. And I just don't want to do that. Like, right now, wife is retired. So, I kind of want to start building the farm and let her start running the farm. That's where my eyes are right now. And maybe obviously farmers, they're not known for being, generally wealthy. But I want to do that. Definitely my best trading day ever. Thanks, Home. Nice, Ellis. Do you think the market will ever return to the boring days of 2018? Yes, I do. Did you say Mrs. OM is retired? She is. I'm taking a PNC insurance license test. Let me know when you need insurance on your property. We'll do SpaceX or Space Cadet, 100%. When you have 150K days, your wife don't work. Congrats on escaping the hamster wheel. Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, she was the director of 3 different ERs. She was a regional director of a hospital, hospitalization company. So she ran 3 different ERs in the region. And after coronavirus, it killed her. Like, coronavirus, she was working 24-hour days nonstop for weeks. It killed her. So after that, she kind of was looking for a way out. And then she got out and she wanted to maintain her nursing license. So she got a part-time thing just to maintain it. And then the state changed their laws where you don't have to have a required amount of hours. You just have to take a continuing education thing. So once that came out, she's like, I have no need to do this. So she officially retired. Now she's running a farm. So yeah, she's fantastic. She's smarter than me, man. She'd be a better trader than me too. I wish I can get her into trading. Have you tried renting for military by owner? No, but I have used I used a property management company that was prior military. That's how they started their company. All right, 28,330 all the way up. That's why she doesn't trade. Yeah. She's smarter, 100%. Gardening, farming is the key to a longer life. Yep. Another top wick back over. That's another major bottom wick, NASDAQ. That is about a 70-point bottom wick. 28,300. Stay-at-home mom is still a full-time job. Yep. Yep, definitely. We have a little bit of profit taking happening on the calls on the S&P, but it's just minor. The S&P is still bottom wicking, going up like crazy. NASDAQ is doing the same, 28,316 and going, just up and away. We haven't hit the 50% Fibonacci yet. The 3C trigger, if you wanted to look for downside, would be, honestly, it's got to close. What is that bottom of that candle? 289 has to close to give you a possible 3C, because we do have a volume spike. The 1045 candle gave us the volume spike, which says we have a supply right here. But not to say that we're going down. That's all I'm saying, is that there is a supply there. And if they close a lower low and start to move lower, you'll know that's triggered. But if they retake that 346 level, then that's it. There's no more supply there. They'll retake it and go. All you're doing is plotting supplies here. Yeah, buddy. That's my goal one day. Learning to milk prop firms while having a 9 to 5 stable income. Hit my financial goal and just quit. Live in a wood cabin. Yes, sir. 28,320. That's another high volume bounce on NASDAQ. Well, not a high volume. That is a bounce, not a high volume bounce. 28,300. MU's going back down. SanDisk is still going up. NVIDIA is gone back up. SpaceX, just looking through the watch list here. SpaceX is kind of doing the fizzling out their thing back and forth. Ooh, massive red. What was that? NASDAQ just got top wicked again. Interesting. Interesting here. What are we doing? What are we doing here? The swings on NASDAQ this week have been violent. Yes, they have. That's why you have to maintain position sizing. Check out Colony Hills Capital to invest in general partner in large real estate complex only for accredited investors. Okay, I'll take a look. Thank you. Time of day to remind yourself not to overtrade. Hang on to your profits. We have one more week left until the kids are back in school, and then the week after that. So I think the second week of August, we're going to start doing afternoon streams. The afternoon streams will be only for Discord, though. I'm not going to stream those on YouTube, just to bring more value to the community. So I'm not sure if we're going to do them all 5 days. I think we'll just do them 3 days a week. So we'll do probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll do afternoon streams. And I'm thinking roughly 2:30 Eastern time to market close. I don't want to come on too early because it's boring. And even then, it'll be as conditions permit. So if we come on and things are just terrible, then we'll just, all right, whatever. We'll do a recap day and then call it a day. For the record, I'm gonna get my yellow fixed. Getting out Patreon shifter on Monday. Nice, David. Appreciate you, buddy. Got about 27 minutes left to the London close, and then we'll call it a day. Call it a week. Call it a month. I can't believe we're already 7 months through the year. Like, we're already heading into fall. Which, by the way, you want to know what grinds my gears? When I walk into Publix in the middle of July and I see pumpkin spice products being put out already. When I see, like, those little pumpkin peanut butter flavored Snickers and stuff. If you have to put out pumpkin products in July, then just leave them out all year long. You're killing me. You're killing me. It's not even August yet. Like, we're not even halfway through summer yet. And you're putting out fall products. You drive me nuts. You drive me nuts. It is impossible for me to enjoy a pumpkin-flavored product when I have to apply deodorant to 90% of my body because it's 100 degrees out. No thanks. Anyway, that's what grinds my gears. Old man yells at cloud. They kill the nostalgia of it. They kill the fun of fall when they put it out too early. Yeah, it's still watermelon time. That's right, Cool J. Freaking pumpkins. I agree, but holy cow, pumpkin spice is good. I'm medium on it. I wouldn't call myself a huge pumpkin spice lover, like a PSL. Like, I'm not going to wear my white leggings and Ugg boots and carry my PSL, but PSL stands for pumpkin spice latte, by the way. But I like it. I'll eat it. A watermelon milkshake at Cookout. Interesting. Time already moves too fast nowadays. Yes, it does. Public prices, yeah. Publix is insane. I only use Publix for a safe gap because Publix is right down the road from me. So if I forget something, I'll just run there. But other than that, it's insane prices. All right, still bottom wicking here. ES and NASDAQ. There's no signs of selling yet. We have liquidity up to 7,500. I don't have a good handle on where we're going to go from here. We saw a beautiful sell-off. We saw a beautiful bounce. I'm not sure what to do from here. So, which usually means no more trades. Yes, it is, Phil. Yes, it is. They are going to be a regular thing. And the more I can automate processes, the more macro levels I'll do. And the more swing trades we can take. Everything I'm doing with Claude is to bring more value to the Tier 2 and the Tier 1 members, which means more efficiency. I have to create more time for me. SpaceX macros? Yeah. We could try to do some macro levels on an individual name. That'd be fun. Yeah, buddy. Any final questions before we start coasting into the 10:30, 11:30 time frame? We are rejecting the 350 mark on NASDAQ right here. What are we doing? You think we push lower from here? Nice. Can you please explain how you knew it was going to bounce where it did? Yes. So there are a couple of things to consider. One is SPX put level at 7,400. It bottom ticked it and ran. Call buying on the options was aggressive. They were pumping the calls that began. The call pumping did not begin until right at 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, or what is it? 10 o'clock 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central, which was 15 minutes before the bounce. So they started putting on calls before the freight train came to an end. Then we had the high volume come in at 10:05, continue at 10:10, and continue at 10:15. So we had 3 volume spikes. We had the bottom wick occur at 10:15 candle. We had the actionable trigger occur at 170, 180 on NASDAQ, and then off to the races. So it's all about, number one, first and foremost, the 3 Cs. 3 Cs come in, volume, bottom wick, and then it confirm with a higher high. Then we correlate with our tools. Watch list, everything was bouncing. 7,400 put leg on the options SPX. Aggressive call buying, 0 DTEs on the Hero Spot Gamma Hero tool. So once you got the 3 Cs, then your eyes can start doing the lobster eye and look at other stuff, and then we bounce. I'm thinking of upgrading to Tier 2. What do you think is the highest value from upgrading? Well, I mean, that's going to be different, depends on how you ask. Some people like the course content the best. Some people like the macro levels the best. Some people like the weekly brief the best. It depends. It depends. Do I add to trades? No, I don't. Do I trade in a business account? No, I don't. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. All of my stuff falls under an LLC, so. Do I ever trade the Asia session? Other types count up. Normally, no. I did trade it in the past week, though, and it was extraordinary. But, yeah. Normally, I don't even look at Asia Open. Like, when I sign off, I'll kind of pay attention to the settlement open for a little bit, and then that's it. Like, my trading, like, I don't even look at the charts at all until the next day. when I do all my pre-market stuff. But I did trade it a couple of times this week. It was extraordinary. So this is the course content on tier 2. I'll show you. So it's anywhere between 30-minute to 1-hour snippets of content. Now I'm in the process of uploading all of the videos from the past 4 years, which is going to take me a while. There's 1,000 videos of the past 4 years, so you'll be able to go through and look at everything, and then of course all the future stuff too. But you get access to. What are the current options flow and hero stating? Right now we're showing some call selling. Call selling and put buying after a very aggressive bull morning. So yeah, legal tax evasion. I need that. That was one of my favorite ones. I love that legal tax evasion stuff. Still coming down. Dropping. I'm new here. What are the 3 C's? Welcome, M-Ray. The 3 C's stands for 3 criteria. We have triple top wicks right now off 340 and rocking and rolling. We have call selling and put buying. We have a lower low 3C short trigger here on down from 224. The 3 C's stand for 3 criteria. That is what I trade. I have 4 videos on my YouTube channel you can take a look at if you want to learn more about that. The first criteria is volume, the second criteria is wick, and the third criteria is follow through. So a lower low, higher high, that type of thing. And it allows me to confirm when moves are moving. Nice, Tylenol, well done. Well done. If I remember correctly, do you have a Zoom call with Tier 2 every weekend? It was every other weekend, but we don't do that anymore. So what I'm doing is recording custom content and placing it on the website. Simply because it was difficult to schedule time to get everybody together to do that. So sometimes I would have like 30 people on there. Sometimes I've had one person show up. I've even had no people show up because of the time frame that I had to do. So because of that, I'll just record the content and I'll post it on there, and they can and people can watch it whenever they need to, whenever they have time. Which the next video comes out today. Welcome, M-Ray. Hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have questions. Come back and join us again on Monday as well for the next stream. And we'll see if we can get you going. NASDAQ, big red, bottom wick, back up. What's the title of the video today? Change of character. Analyzing changes of character and how to know when markets change conditions. That's a higher level video, though. You've got to understand how price action and volume works to understand when the market changes character. Kind of like, you know, when your wife all of a sudden is in a bad mood. Uh-oh, change of character. She ain't in a good mood anymore. Can't make those jokes now. You have to learn to identify that. Does a video touch on that? No. You're welcome, Emery. You're welcome. Good question. You're welcome, LL Cool J. All right, 28,283 here on NASDAQ. We just had a big pump and dump. I don't trade these conditions. I love playing outlier moves, which this morning had 2 of them. I love playing them. The middle stuff here, I don't like doing it. That's called piddling in the middle. I don't like to piddle in the middle. I like to piddle at the outliers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If anybody knows anything about like LED lights, I'm going to be continuing the finalization of my office studio so we can start putting cameras in here. I think I know a good part about it, but if you have any words of wisdom for me, I'm open to it. I'm sure one of you jabronis has a really fancy office that's like all coolly lit. We are showing about $1 billion worth of calls sold. So they went to 3 billion in calls purchased. Now we're down to 1.5. So they've actually gone 1.5 billion in calls sold down. ES is pumping back up to 74.80. They just filled. How much was that? I missed that. That came on quickly. We just had a lot of 1,000 orders sitting at 74.80 and another top wick on ES and NASDAQ. And another sweeping top wick off that 74.76. NASDAQ is getting wrecked after that triple top, quadruple top off that area. That is a sweeping top wick on ESN NASDAQ. Interesting. I like it. I like it. Interesting. That is a sweeping top wick, and they just filled 1,100 lots sitting at that level. They filled it on Bookmap, and they dumped it. They filled it on Bookmap, and they dumped it. Wow. You want to know what's crazy, Phil? They're doing the nth month free allocation. Yep. I put it, I told you about that NinjaTrader account because I got signed up for the beta. NinjaTrader DM'd me on X and said, "Hey, I signed you up for the beta on that TRADIFY thing for Claude." So I signed up for it and I put $5,000 on that account. I just hit $16,000 on that account in a week. That account's crazy. I don't know how y'all do it. I like it though. NinjaTrader's nice. I miss it. I traded with it with Apex 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Yeah, 16K real money. Yeah, I put 5K in and test out that Claude. What am I doing? So NinjaTrader came out with a, what's it called? I forget what they call it. A connection to Claude. So I forget what it's called. I'd have to look at it. MCP. There you go. Thanks, Walker. So NinjaTrader came out with their MCP that you connect it to your Claude and you could do all kinds of analysis on it, and you can eventually create bots to trade for you. So you can literally create a bot that it'll just automate your trades and do everything for you. Now the bot execution won't do it on a live account. It will only do it on a simulated account now until they test it. But the analysis of it is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. And I want to get it to do a full deep dive into everything. I want it to nitty-grit every single thing I touch. So it's very attractive to me to do that, especially after knowing what I've known about Claude. I've been deep diving into Claude now for 3 weeks, and it's literally changed my life. And I wanted to see if it can create an edge for me in trading. Can you ask it to analyze your trade patterns? Yes. Yep. How'd you get started with Claude? Can anyone share YouTube videos or learning? All those videos that Anthropic puts out about prompting and loops and all this stuff, I've been watching all of them. When you say deep dive into Claude, what does that entail? Well, I have Claude Code, and I've been watching those videos and just testing it, prompting it, testing it, see what I can build. I've been building fun stuff, useful stuff, practical stuff, websites. I've been building everything. This morning I built a farm productivity app, just vibe coding, listening to music, vibe coding, sipping coffee. So it's just someone like me who has not a single ounce of technical expertise. Like I have no idea how to code anything. I'm not a technical person, but putting this tool in my hands allows someone like me who is filled with ideas to start to put stuff into reality. And if I could get that to drive an edge, to further refine my edge in trading, it makes me excited like a child on Christmas Eve. So, can't wait. See what I can do with it. All right, top looking back over, 28,242. Am I using Pro Claude? I have the Max account on Claude. Max Claude. How many Raspberry Pis you got? None yet, but right now I have 2 projects I'm going to build. I'm going to build one of those scrolling stock tickers, and I'm going to build a productivity device for my kitchen. How did it make the 16? Is it 3? Yep. No, man, everything you're seeing here is the trades I've taken this week have been on my prop firms and on NinjaTrader. Real money. Is Claude really that powerful? Yes. I was not a believer in it. I thought AI was just glorified Google searches. Until my brother-in-law came over and showed me a couple things, and it blew my freaking mind, and I went all in on it, and it's extraordinary. All right, top ticking here on NASDAQ. We had a sweeping top wick on ES and NASDAQ. That's a quadruple top off 343. We had some put selling. I'm not really going to hammer the table in any kind of direction here because I'm not sure where they're going to go with this. But yeah, can I do a video on Claude? I guess I could. I'm very beginner with it. I don't know how much education I can have with it, but I'm very, very beginner on it. It would kind of be just me fumbling through things and explaining what I've done on a very basic perspective. How much do you set aside from your prop firm winnings towards taxes? 30%. 30% of everything I touch in the markets except for my 1256 stuff goes 30%. 1256 goes 15%. All right, top looking back over. Just make sure you prompt with make no mistakes. Yeah. You are $1 million a year graphic designer. Design me a website, make no mistakes. Will prop firms approve of trading with Claude? Probably not, if I had to guess. Top looking back over right here. Let's do it. 74.64. Do I copy trade TPT and Top Step? I don't trade Top Step anymore. I do copy trade TPT, Take Profit Trader. Yes. Claude, you are Ken Griffin looking for the next situation. Yeah. Didn't you? Hey, Anthropic tweeted today that Claude has infiltrated 3 systems. That it did it on its own. So it's interesting what Claude can do now. What it's going to continue to do. Lucid lets you trade with bots. There you go. We're coming up near the end of the day, end of the stream. Speaking of Claude AI. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Anthropic disclosed the previously undetected incident 1 week after ChatGPT closed OpenAI said. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. As a cybersecurity professional, this AI battle scares me to death. Dude. Yeah. If Claude is this capable in my hands, someone who has no idea what they're doing, I can't imagine what it's doing for someone who knows what they're doing. It's scary. It's got to be a superpower for someone who knows what they're doing. All right, sweeping top wick on ES and NASDAQ. That's 20 points on ES. NASDAQ is sweeping back down to the tune of to 150 points. It's hard to believe that's a 150-point move, but it is. After that, you got to think 2808. We have call, selling, put buying. The options are breaking down. We just filled 1,100 orders on the S&P and then sweeping top wick. Do you have any hints on what the tech system is trading through Claude? On how the system is trading through Claude. Well, my system isn't trading through Claude yet. I signed up for NinjaTrader for that purpose, to have Claude automate my system. I want to create a bot in Claude that trades 3Cs, back test the crap out of it with sim trading, and then turn it on and see what it can do. But it's just going to be based on 3Cs. High volume levels in 3Cs. And I don't know what that looks like because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I have no idea what this stuff means, so I have to get in there and just kind of finagle with it. And then 100%, once that's active, especially if it's actually profitable, I'll make videos and content and give that to you. And if it's possible for me to give you that bot, I'll make it part of the tier 2 package. I'll give you the bot if it works. Again, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'll have to see if that's even feasible. But yeah, that's my goal. Let's hope they don't let Fauci use the code. Yeah. All right, coming down here, 28,214. Nice top wick, still going. ES price action is so sexy. It is sexy. It's very sexy. 28,153. We have call, selling, put buying. The options are breaking down. I did not catch this short. I wonder if I can feed Claude OM3C YouTube videos rather than tell me Claude. Yeah. Probably. That's what I've done. I've already given all my YouTube videos to him. Or to it. Sorry, that's weird. To it. 28,135. We have another 50 points till we get to the low of the day. Yeah, it looks like they are rug pulling. Trump's getting ready to talk. Uh-oh. Is it going to be the Liberation Day? 28,140. That's an aggressive move down. 1.4 billion in calls being sold here. I've been vibe coding indicators for 2 years, and what helps AI is taking out in depth your process and just testing it over and over. I use ChatGPT, and it's getting way better, super fast, spitting out accurate code, and pretty much the first try. Nice, Mike. 28,124, still dropping. These are some pretty large moves, people. Already this is a 200-point move. It doesn't look like it until you realize the scope of these moves. There's nothing on the NASDAQ book. There's a good amount on the ES book. I just got a data aggregation error. And I heard my fan kick up. What does that mean? Nice, K2. Well done, buddy. Well done. What are we doing here? Can I connect my Rhythmic prop accounts to NinjaTrader and have them all listed with my live? Where I can just like click off the live and trade the props and then click off the props and trade the live on NinjaTrader? I don't want to call it a live account, my actual account. I hate calling real money live accounts. It's weird. You're welcome, MJ. Did the chicken alert signal go off yet? Not yet. Not yet. All right. 7460. Another data aggregation. Why does that keep happening? Sent you a DM. I got you, Phil. All right. NASDAQ and the S&P are still sliding. This looks like a low of the day touch here. Yeah, that's a latency spike. Both of them. Yeah. This looks like we're going to go for low of the day, which is 080 on NASDAQ. Ken Griffin's hacking your computer, yeah. I've been using some Claude code, mostly as a glorified Google, as you said, some coding and account rotation, where I can take a deeper dive to get more education, expand my knowledge. I mean, YouTube's your best friend. YouTube is your best friend. I've learned everything I have from, Phil's helped me out a lot. He's very knowledgeable. And then YouTube. Any specific video? Who's Phil? Who is Phil indeed? He's very devious. He's devious Phil. Yeah, devious Phil right there. You got him under your name, Thatch. I trade multiple props on NT. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to try that out. I might do that if it helps me out. That's Dr. Phil to you, yeah. I'll find you some links that I watch, Ellis. But it's I looked at Anthropic's site because I didn't want to watch an influencer teaching me Claude. I wanted to watch Anthropic teaching me Claude. So I looked at all the Anthropic's videos. And they've got 1,000 videos, a whole course on from basic prompting to everything else. So, yeah. You're welcome. I'll see if I can get you the link. We are now through the London close, which means that's going to bring our time together to an end. Any final questions, parting thoughts for the community? Top wick NASDAQ. Looks like likely we will get to the low of the day. Enjoyable session as usual. Thanks and have a good weekend. You too, Jimbo. Appreciate you. Best day I've had in a month. Nice, Proggy. Man, you're having a fantastic week. You have a new son. Fantastic month. Fantastic day. I'm happy for you, Proggy. Congratulations. 28,000 today. Nice. Nice. That is very nice. Muy interesante. Thanks, so great morning. Have a good weekend. You too, Mojo. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. You're welcome, Ned. I plead the fifth. Nice. Have a great weekend and thanks, Slater. You too. I turned Claude Opus into my entire AI operating system. I like it. Thanks for everything. Have a good weekend, Ellis. You too. Thanks, Thatch. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come back and join us on Monday. Thank you for hanging out with the Options Millionaire server. I'm, of course, Andrew. Be smart, trade the 3 C's, and don't overtrade. Until next time, I'll see you on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, and God bless. I'm out.